Just a moment. Yes, good afternoon from my side. And I say good day to you all, according to your time. Today, I'm going to be talking about a little bit about Pan African. As we all know, there's a lot happening in the African continent today. And before the white man came to the continent of Africa, now called Africa, there was Africa without borders, without, without boundaries. Although there were borders because of the kinship, ethnic origin, and others, but there was still something that is called Pan African. Before the Caucasians come to uh, our stronghold, the West African, there was something Pan Africa. There was friendship uh, between the ethnic groups, like the Benin's with the uh, all this, like the Oyo. There was an Oyo Empire to the east, as far as to Cameroon and others. But today we hardly see this, and things are not just happening in Africa. Africa belongs to the whole of the black world, the black people. We are supposed to be Pan-African, helping each other, uh, trying to improve the economic of our people, trying to do a lot for our people. But today we hardly see this. Especially in our country, Nigeria, where we see today people conversing. We want our Priafa, we want our Ododua, we want this and that, middle belt. I ask this question: why would people uh, like to have only 5 states? Why would people like to only reside in only 3 or 4 states? Why not the whole of Africa? Because if you do business in the whole of Africa, I think our people will not be so poor as it is now. Not just only that, if we do everything that is needed to promote Africa as a whole, I believe the whole world will be afraid of Africa. Africa has been the origin of the whole world, and Africa has been a place where the whole world will run to when uh, all other continents are burning. In the First World War, in the Second World War, people ran to Africa. We did call them refuge. We didn't call them any other names. But today, you can see what is happening to Africa. The whole world is holding Africa as a hostage. And this is something needs to be done. We are calling on everyone uh, that is inviting all sort of foreign uh, power into Africa to take note. All these foreign powers, they are not just coming to Africa to develop Africa, they are also coming to Africa to destroy Africa more as it is now. Let's just take example for example, Libya. You know? Yes, Libya was under the dictatorship. We know that. And the people call Libya the leader Muammar Gaddafi as a tyrann. Do you know when Gaddafi was visiting France or visiting United States or visiting any of these European countries? Do you know what they did to him for him? They gave him a football field to camp with his entourage. With his entourage, uh, gave him the best security they have. But today, when Gaddafi tried to go against this government, all sort of allegations started coming up from this Western media, somewhere like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. This is the machineries of the Western world. which they use against our African leaders. Yes, we know Africa has a lot of bad leaders, but not all leaders in Africa are bad. That is one thing we should put into consideration. When Gaddafi stand up and said, we want to develop Africa, we want Africa to have a single currency, we want Africa to have a single voice, you know what happened to him? They killed him. Not just killed him, they destabilized Libya. Everyone can see how Libya looks like today. Under Gaddafi, although people were complaining or saying Gaddafi was terrorizing them, I think the people of Libya get to understand today that Gaddafi was not just only a bad leader, he was also a leader for his people. He did something for his people. There was nobody who were hungry in Libya during this time. Every Libyan were educated. But today, go to Libya, you will see the difference as it is now. Not just only Libya. If you go to Egypt, where they did the same. When the demonstration started in Egypt to overthrow Mubarak, everybody were shouting on the street, yeah, 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 the Westerners are helping us to dethrone Mubarak, to do everything that Egypt come back to democracy. But what is happening today in Egypt? What happened there was when Mubarak stand up against some certain people, these people come after him. They remove him from power. He's in prison, or I don't know where he is now. Maybe he died, or I don't know. And they remove him from power. They replace him with another person, another military person, assassin, which is also a marionette to this Western world today. We can see what is happening in Egypt today. So every African's youth must be very, very careful when we are shouting for freedom, and then when we are shouting for democracy, and then when we are shouting for what we don't know. Because there are other people at the back just drawing this rope, who want to destabilize our land, to destabilize everything in that land, to make sure they come into that land and remove every good things in that land and use it for themselves. Look at Tunisia today. Tunisia is not coming to rest. Okay, let us go back to Africa, other part of Africa, the Black Africa. When we have a situation in Guinea with a coup, which remove the other leader, although he wasn't a perfect man or a perfect leader, and he misused all the power he was given to. Now we have a military coup and a military leader who the people doesn't even know his agenda, who the people doesn't know what he can do, even do for these people. What I am observing is alarming. This person, this military ruler there, is already misusing his power. He has not even started. He has started going against all other ECOWAS leaders, going against his people. There's things we have to understand about military rules. Nigeria experienced this years. We know how Nigeria was ruined to number zero because we just adore people we doesn't know. What we doesn't know, we just shout, hey, this man is this man is that. The Guinea coup leader is almost a month in the power. What has he done? The only thing he has done is just parading the old leaders for the whole people to become an enemy. After now they become an enemy, then he will now come up and say he's the savior, which is also already doing. You know, we will see in the next 1 year, Guinea will be going down, 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 because all these military leaders, they have no agenda, and it doesn't mean anything good for the people. And if you talk, they will lock you up, they will kill you silently for their own purpose. You know, military rule doesn't mean anything good for our people. And supporting the Western world to bring all mercy they have, all missionaries they have to West Africa or to Africa doesn't mean good to any Africans. We all should know this. Let's look at the case of Democratic Republic of Congo today, or Congo as a whole, as it was called before. You know, all mineral resources you need in the whole world is in Congo today. But why is Congo not coming to rest? You know, the United Nations, they said they are keeping for peace there with their forces. Are they really doing that? You know, there are a lot of countries who they say they are helping Congo. Are they really helping Congo, or they are looting Congo? We all should know this. Congo is one of the richest land in the whole world, and one of the biggest country also in the whole world. You know, but today they have all the resources that is needed to build a country. But why can't they do that? Because there are other missionaries instigating the people against the leaders, that these leaders, they cannot even do anything for their people. Because most of our youth who believe they are well educated or they are more educated, allow them to be influenced by the Western governments to start going against our leaders and going against our people. What is happening in Africa today should have not been happening. It must be a priority that Africans help Africans, poor or rich. It doesn't really matter. It is very, very, very sad when you go to South Africa today, see them killing other blacks because they feel now they are richer than all these people. But what South Africa forgot, that Nigeria, for example, fought for the independence of the South African people. We support them with money, we support them with soldiers, we support them with arms, fighting for these people. Many of our people lost their lives to support South Africa. We also, not just supporting them, we also rescue most of their leaders. Most of the leaders you know today spend a lot of time in Nigeria, where they were hiding, where Nigerian government were hiding these people. It is unfortunate that the South Africans are behaving the way they behave now. You know? The brother love, the brotherlyhood must be there. Because if you think you as South Africa, or you as a Nigerian, or you as a Biafra, or whatever you call yourself, or your Oduduwa, you can survive Africa alone, you cannot do that. Because your 5 state, or your 4 state, or your 3 state cannot build you a country you need. You need the support of other Africans who will support you, who will help you to build those nations. And the worst of all, in almost all African countries, we have genocides. We have in Ethiopia what is going on today there. Everybody know that. We know what is going on there. There's no need of closing our eyes and be looking. You know, it's not just only Ethiopia. We have Somalia. What happened to Somalia? Somalians first, they go to the ocean to fish. You know? They fish, and now the international community, they come in, the Europeans, the Chinese, the Americans, they said this is their passage. And they are not just using there as passage. All the ships trolley, let me call it trolleys, that is fishing in the ocean today, you can see them in the Somalia region. Where the Somalians themselves, they cannot even fish again. Any boats that go out to fish, they will now call them terrorists, or what do they call the other name? Pirates, that is kidnapping them. Yes, something of such happened, but these people have to find a living. They have to find a way to survive their family, and those people, they left at home. Even some of them were even brought to Europe to face charges. When these people, the Europeans, knew this is an African, they were taken from Africa to this place for execution. I'm pleading with all African leaders, all African youth, all African elders. It is time to build Africa. It is time to support Africa as Africa is. We must not copy any Western word. We must not copy and let me just put it this way. We must not copy any European word, any American word, or any Asia or Australia continent. Africa has what it needs to build the continent, to be one of the richest in the world, to build his military, to build everything is needed. Look at it today. Almost every country in the Western region has uh, uh, has its army in Africa. They said they are promoting peace, but still yet we doesn't have peace in Africa. People should not start to be questioning themselves why it is like that as it is now. When I was in Nigeria last time, I heard so many people saying uh, we should just bring in American force, European force to build Nigeria for us again. Oh, I was laughing on the side. You said you are a professor and you said you are educated. How can educated man like you cannot fix his own household and be calling on other person to fix your house for you? Is that not a disgrace? You know, when I see a lot of IPObarians going out and say, "Oh, America is coming, Trump is coming, this and that is coming," nobody is coming to rescue you. You have to rescue yourself. My advice for you: don't let anybody brainwash you. If they destroy Nigeria today, you are also going down with Nigeria. Nobody will exempt you. If Nigeria go down, you go down too. Because they know exactly when Nigeria is separated, when all Africa is separated, they can inflict injuries on us. A deadly one, not just a normal injury. In the case of Congo, Congo has a lot for the world, but the world has nothing for Congo. When the whole world has been saying they have been helping Africa, but when you come down to this very world, this European area, America, the people that are less respected are people of Africa. They will tell you to go to Africa, we will come and help you there. If you look at Senegal, all this area today, where our people cannot fish again, where they are now living for Spain, for other European countries. Everybody knows what happened there. Maybe people doesn't really know why these people are leaving, because most of these people were fishers. They were fishing in their own area, in their own country. When the Europeans came and bought the fishing rights of all these places, and now these people, they have nowhere to go and fish. Even though they go out to fish, they have no fish to bring home for their own family. How do you expect these people to bring their daily bread for the table for his family? The government is not even doing anything to give them a new job or a new perspective. Look at Ghana also. Ghana doesn't have fish anymore. Why? Because they also sold their right. So Africans, we have to start waking up. Everything we do mustn't end with violence. I am not instigating Africans against other continents, but Africans should start learning how to stand for ourselves. Because we, the black people in this world today, it's not easy for us. Go to Haiti today, see what is happening. The Haitians, or what they call them, their forefathers, they didn't leave Africa and said they want to go and reside in Haiti. They were forcefully brought down there. And now they are there. They were there as a slave. And the people are still treating them as a slave today. If Africa is built today, I think the Haitians, they would like to come back home to Africa. Even the Americans, the black Americans, they would like to come back home to Africa, to reside in Africa again. But Africa is not built. We have a lot of war. We have a lot of nonsense that is not supposed to be happening. And this is very, very important as an African, that we do things that will benefit Africans. You know, and the Europeans and the Americans, they have been playing this game for a very, very long time, using the African youth against the African leaders, using the African leaders against the African youth. Because I noticed this for a very, very long time. Most of these governments that are being overthrown, most of these governments that are being removed from power, there's always a control from the Western world what is happening in that country. I can remember in the last Nigerian election, not just the last, from the former Nigeria election, where Goodluck Jonathan was also contesting as a Nigerian president for the second term. I know what Barack Obama did. All the whole fake information that was in this world, that was in that election, was being created by the Americans. Because they know exactly when Buhari is in power, they can also be able to control Nigeria. Exactly the same thing as the British people and all other European countries. They know when we have somebody like Buhari, they can now use it against Nigeria. They can do anything they want to do in our country. Do you know that we have a British force in Nigeria today? Nobody knows that. Or in the border between Nigeria and Niger and all those areas, Mali, yes, in Chad and others, that we had other foreign force like from the German and the French. They have been there for a very long time. What are they doing there? Which peace are they keeping there? And still yet we have Boko Haram everywhere. We have to ask this question. Are these people after our mineral resources there? This question needs to be asked. How are they keeping peace in that area? We have to ask these people questions. Why are other foreign military force in Africa when Africa doesn't have other military force in other continents, like the American continent, like the European Union, or European continent, or the Australia continent? Why is these people in our continent? We have to start asking ourselves this question. They are not there to protect us. We all know this. And they are not there to enrich us. We all know this. So we should ask our leaders, why are these people in our own land? Very close to Spain, they have a military base there, which they call a communication center, to prevent refugees from crossing into Europe. is this place really a communication center only for the against the refugee, or are they using this to listen to the whole of Africa, what we are saying, what we are doing, and all of that things? We have to start in asking intelligent question. Do we really want foreign power in Africa? Or should Africa go back to his own self, to rule himself freely from influence, without influence of the Europeans, without the influence of America? Can Africa survive that? Yes. Africa has survived us for thousands of years. We survived it before they came. Africa was very rich because I can read from the book behind me here and other books that has been written, not by Africans but by Europeans, when they came to the Benin Empire, which was the last stronghold of Africa. This was the last stronghold of Africa. When they came in there, we all know what they wrote. We saw houses, beautiful palace. We saw the street of the city very clean. We saw street light for the first time. They saw street light for the first time. This was seen in Africa. They saw drainage for the first time. And they saw a war, the longest war, man-made war in the whole world. This was in Africa. It was made in the Benin Empire. Unless my dog is barking, sorry for that. I believe my neighbor is just going to the upstairs. Sorry for the noise. And yes, when they arrived in our old ancient city of Benin, what they saw, began to go back to England, to Germany, to Holland, and all other places to go and start telling them they saw heaven. Because in Benin City, all the whole doors were open. There were doors, but they were open. There was no beggar on the street, and there was no criminal. But today, if you go to the street of Benin, you have everywhere beggars, you have criminals, have armed robbers controlling the highways, controlling the seats, the street of Africa. You know, this is very, very sad. This is sad. How Africa was destroyed and kept hostage by these people. We now say Africa must be free. We have to free Africa from all this nonsense. I know today is not a Pan-Africa Day, but we have to start talking about these things. If we want our people to be free, if we want a free economy, if we want Africa without border, because this is very, very important for all the black men in the world, even the Aborigines in Australia, in the Oceania, and in the South America, there's nowhere in the world where black people have been treated well. Even though the white people in that area are minority, but they still keep doing this, treating the blacks, using them as their scapegoat. This is what we have to start standing up against. Okay, just look at what is happening to the Haitians in the American borders today. You will cry. Why is this happening? Why is the Americans treating the Haitians the way they are treating them when they are using planes to evacuate people from Kabul to America? Especially France. France is responsible for what is happening in Haiti today. It is a pity that the French government just kept quiet, saying nothing, because these people, they doesn't want to be in Haiti. They were brought forcefully to Haiti, to all other parts of South America, where they are being mishandled today, mistreated in Brazil, all other areas. We have to start talking about all these things. It's not about hatred. It's about equality, treating every human being equal. Whether you like it or not, one day, it might not be in my own generation, it might not be in your own generation, you're watching me now, that this whole thing will turn to a war, it will turn to a world war, where the blacks will go against the white, where the white will go against the black. It's already going on, it has been going on for years. When some people, some white idiots, let me just put it that way, I'm not against any white people, but there are some stupid people, uneducated people among them. When they are telling us we are criminals, we are this, we are that, I continue to ask them, do you know what your government is doing in my land? Do you know what your government is doing in my continent? Do you think I want to be here? If your government allowed my continent to grow up as it's supposed to be? There's a lot of questions we need to ask. And we Africans, we have to learn how to protect the things that belongs to us. You know, Africa has not just a rich culture. We have good engineers. We have good mechanics. We have all its need to fix Africa. But the enemy of progress in that continent doesn't want Africa to survive. Once an African nation is rising up, they will take it down with allegation. Look, Ethiopia was coming up little by little, but see what is happening in Ethiopia today. Genocide everywhere. The same thing they wanted to inflate in Nigeria. But thank God, Nigerians are very, very intelligent people. They were trying to use the IPOB, they were trying to use Oduduwa, try to use Boko Haram, you know. But if you look at the old map of Africa, what the Europeans throw, you hardly find all these people who are now claiming to who owns this part, the other owns this part, you know. And these people, they are not even ethnic groups. When you say Yoruba today, Yoruba is not an ethnic group. It's only a language name. The same thing with Igbo. Igbo is a language. It's not an ethnic group. It's not an ethnic people. Many people may be seeing, I know most of the Ethiopians, they will say, it's useless. What is he talking about? He cannot even speak English, cannot be even do it. You know, because I heard this a lot of times, several times. They are telling me this. You know, I always tell them I'm not an Englishman and I don't want to be anyone. I have my own culture. I have my own faith. I am who I am, an African man, a Doman, a Benin man. We are pleading with all African leaders. Let us build our continent. Let us build our nations. Let us remove all the foreign forces that are in our land. We doesn't need them. We can keep the peace ourselves. Without these people, Africa is better off. So thank you for today, and thank you for listening. And this is going to continue. It's a Pan-African program. We are not just only talking about Africa. We are going to be talking about our people in other places like Jamaica, like Trinidad, Tobago, and Haiti, in Cuba, in so many other places where we see all the black people, in Brazil especially what is happening to our black people there, how our black people are being kept. You know, the Brazilian president Bolsonaro, we know he is one of the Trump Nazi troop. We know that. No, we shouldn't make any mistake about that. We know what they are doing to the black people. And that's why the Biafras or the IPOBarians, they are not very, very intelligent when they are saying Trump is coming to their rescue. You know, somebody call you a pit hole. You still have faith on him. And now you are losing faith on that. You said now you are a Jewish person. You are from Israel. When we all know Israelis, the land they occupy there doesn't even belong to them. You know, because most of this land, can tell you 80% of this land belongs to the Palestinians. I think we should have to be very careful what we pray for. But I'm praying for Pan-Africa, Africa without border, Africa with self-determination, Africa with self-rule, Africa without foreign troops, Africa without foreign influence, Africa where we have about 70% of our traditional rules. That is what I'm campaigning for. And this is what we help Africa as a whole. If we can build Africa, our oppressed brothers and sisters all over the world can start coming home to join us to also contribute their part. But if we fail, if Nigeria failed, if the Benin Empire failed, the whole of Africa will keep on failing as it is today now. So thank you very much for listening, and see you soon, and enjoy the day today. Maybe today we will still be coming out from the Benin Empire Advancement League conversation, but I don't know yet. But we are still going to be doing a lot. We are going to, we have a lot to offer. We have history, we have empowerment programs, so lectures to empower our people, to tell them who they are, how they can use their resources, you know, how to use the garden they're having at their home, how to use it to make sure they don't go hungry to bed, you know. And we have a lot to offer, not just in Nigeria, for the whole of Africa. We have our presence in Ghana, in Republic of Benin, in Togo, in Sierra Leone, and part of Cameroon, and Nigeria as a whole. You know, Africans should start waking up. We should start waking up. You know, we should start saying no to foreign religion, because this is what is killing us today. Because we forgot our root. We should go back to our root. It's just because we forgot our root that's where the problem started. So we have to go back to our root and regenerate Africa again, to make sure Africa belongs to Africans. So thank you, and see you next time. Bye-bye.